Rick Hendrick lashes out at NASCAR. On Tuesday, NASCAR fined Hendrick Motorsports a large fine for concerns with the hood louvres detected on all four of the team's vehicles at Phoenix Raceway over the weekend. And after the penalties became official this week, Rick Hendrick has spoken out. Therefore, NASCAR fans, tune in to today's video to see how Hendricks Motorsports is handling it. But before we begin, subscribe to our channel and hit the like button so that you can join the beautiful NASCAR Inside family. Thanks in advance. When Hendrick Motorsports is in the crosshairs of NASCAR for an alleged rule infringement, there is a contingent of people working for rival teams that roll their eyes and snigger, believing that NASCAR would not seriously hit its all-time most successful organisation in terms of championships and wins. Let's just put the idea out of our mind, shall we? On Wednesday, NASCAR did what it needed to do by taking the necessary action of slapping Hendrick with a severe fine for making unapproved alterations to parts. Hendrick was issued a total of $400,000 fine, which is the highest amount that has ever been levied against a single organisation in the annals of NASCAR's history. Alex Bowman, William Byron and Carl Larson, who were three of Hendrick's four drivers, were each punished 100 points and 10 playoff points, while each of Hendrick's four teams lost 100 owner points. Every team in the garage is aware of the penalties that can be imposed on a team if it's discovered that the team has modified third-party parts. This was made abundantly obvious during the course of the 2022 season when NASCAR handed down similar severe fines to RFK Racing and Front Row Motorsports when it was determined that both of these teams had made unauthorized changes to their vehicles. So when it came out that NASCAR had taken the louvres off the car of Hendrick and Cowlick Racing over the weekend at Phoenix Raceway, there was little doubt about how this would turn out. According to Elton Sawyer, who serves as the Senior Vice President of Competition for NASCAR.
Basically, as we mentioned at Phoenix, this is in uncharted waters. From time to time, we'll capture parts, we'll bring them back. And as we continue to investigate and look at parts and comparing parts, it was obvious to us that these parts had been modified in an area that wasn't approved. This is a consistent penalty with what we went through last year with other competitors, the 6, the 34. So we felt like, to keep the garage on a level playing field, the competition level where it needs to be. All the dialogue that went around this car last year, working with the owners on what the deterrent model should be, we were put in a position that we didn't feel like there was no other way but to write a penalty.
But when NASCAR carried out its inquiry over the course of the past few days, many in the business believed that Hendrick would be cleared of any wrongdoing. This is NASCAR's most famous team, and many people always give them the benefit of the doubt. Their close relationship with NASCAR has also raised questions for a long time. The belief comes from the fact that NASCAR let Hendrick have a business where customers could drive real modern stock cars. Critics say that this gives Hendrick a way around NASCAR's policy that forbids testing. NASCAR chose the Chevrolet team to lead its venture into racing a next-gen vehicle in the 24 hours of Le Mans this June. This decision did not sit well with Ford or Toyota officials, who feared that Hendrick and Chevrolet would acquire an unfair performance edge as a result of NASCAR's choice. People think that Hendrick gets breaks that other teams won't. What course of action would therefore be taken by NASCAR when it found itself in a bind? It's inconceivable that NASCAR could ignore the misconduct committed by Hendrick, is it not? There is no room for debate on how NASCAR handled the disciplinary action taken against Hendrick. This was not a minor infraction that was overlooked. The organisation was not given the benefit of the doubt, and there were no indications that it was being favoured in any way. In a sport that's known for having several rules and regulations, this decision was simple as they come. After it was found out that Hendrick had improperly modified parts purchased from a third-party vendor, NASCAR's hands were virtually limited in the situation. Hendrick presents another option which is perfectly reasonable. Part of its defence is that louvres got from the manufacturer, Dallara, didn't meet the design specs that each manufacturer sent to NASCAR and was approved, and that the league didn't make it clear what changes were allowed. Sunday, following Byron's victory at Phoenix, Jeff Gordon, vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, said,
I can tell you it was weighing on all of our minds, coming into today, and certainly will continue. I mean, we had some conversations. We'll continue to have conversations with NASCAR. This is every situation sort of unique, but this one is a more unique one than I've seen in a while, where there's been a lot of communication back and forth on this particular part, especially for this racetrack, because they did a parity test in the wind tunnel. And so I think it really opened up the door for some miscommunication. And, I don't want to go into any further than that, but, we will continue to just share all the facts and be transparent with NASCAR as we have so far.
The team had filed an appeal against the penalties, and a panel of appeals consisting of 3 people will decide whether or not the sanction should be overturned. Cow League Racing is additionally appealing the sanction that was handed down to them for the same infraction. The redeeming feature of Hendrick's situation is that even though the sanctions are severe, they are in no way life-threatening. Unlike RFK and Front Row last year, Hendrick has a solid chance of sending all 4 of its drivers to the playoffs if Bowman, Larson and Chase Elliott, who is currently out with an injury, each win one of the 22 remaining regular season races. But Hendrick doesn't have much room for error in this situation. If the team loses its dominant pace after 4 races, Bowman, Elliott and Larson may not each win a race, and as a result of the points deduction, they may fall short of a wildcard playoff place. Jeff Andrews, President and General Manager of Hendrick Motorsports, and Chad Naus, Vice President of Competition, met with the media on Friday at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the venue of Sunday's NASCAR Cup Series race.
It's been trying, and look, we've all jumped in bed on this thing together, right? Since we started this Gen 7 car, and that's the thing that I think we've all prided ourselves on in the garage, is that there's been a tremendous amount of give and take as we've tried to learn how to race this car and work together. It's very disappointing to me that we're sitting in this situation right now with a component that we have all come to the conclusion it is not correct, and we've all tried to work with to get it fixed, and because we've done that with other parts.
Did you modify parts that you felt like were acceptable to NASCAR, or did you use parts given to you that did not fit what NASCAR's template? I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel like that the parts were faulty and that's why you've been penalized, or did you modify the parts in a way that you thought was acceptable to NASCAR?
I can tell you this, Bob. We've got a brand new set of these parts that we could go pull off of the shelf right now that NASCAR deemed illegal, inappropriate for us to race.
You guys were penalized, Colleague was penalized. Do you have any idea why other teams weren't doing what you were doing?
I don't know that they were or weren't, Bob.
Chad, Elton said NASCAR works with the teams to make sure parts and pieces fit properly, but he specifically used the words, this was modified outside those bounds. It seems like you take offense to, we modified these for performance.
Yeah, we have a CAD that has been submitted by the OEM, and the OEM gives that CAD to NASCAR, and it's NASCAR's responsibility to make sure the parts we get fit that CAD.
Are you saying that you pretty much modified the parts to fit the CAD?
We made sure that our parts fit the hood, and the hood closed and did all the stuff that it needed to do.
Do you believe the harshest impact of the penalty is the 10 playoff points and any potential playoff points that could be gained by regular season finish?
I think it all is. I think it's a terrible situation, not only for us, but the industry, to be quite honest with you. I think that's what I dislike the most. It's just, it's ugly. We shouldn't be in this situation, and it's really unfortunate that we are, because it doesn't help anybody.
Are you going to ask for the crew chiefs to be back next week, or if the appeal is not next week, or will you continue to use interim crew chiefs until the appeal is heard?
Well, I think Jeff and I have discussed it with Mr. H and Mr. Gordon, and we're just going to see when the appeal comes down, and we're going to take it kind of week by week and understand what it is that we need to do as the timelines develop. So the way the voluntary inspections happen when you show up at a racetrack with that type of a schedule, you have a mandatory safety and a mandatory engine inspection. Everything else beyond that is up to the teams. We typically choose to go ahead and put the car in for the voluntary inspection, so NASCAR has the opportunity to say, hey, we don't like this, or maybe you need to tweak that, or whatever it may be, and that's been pretty much the standard cadence. I don't know that there's too many teams that usually go through the voluntary inspection that don't get told, hey, you need to kind of work on this a little bit before you show back up tomorrow.
Because once a car's in the garage, it's open for inspection and for parts to be taken. So what is the argument for that it was voluntary? Why is that different?
Because it specifically says voluntary inspection when you rolled into Phoenix.
So what do you guys think will happen now that this issue has been made public? And how will NASCAR officials handle it? Let us know in the comment section below. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our NASCAR updates.